What does that woman's life look like? How does she act? How does she speak? Hello, welcome, happy 2021. Oh, I can't believe it. We made it. We're in 2021. Welcome back to the Business of Happiness podcast. I'm your host, Taryn McCarthy. Thank you so much for joining us last week with Mr. John Laurito, an absolute fire episode to kick us off this year. And today we're going to continue this conversation of painting a portrait of success, especially now looking forward into the new year. And next week, we're going to talk to Dr. Phil Finnemore. I think you're going to love this one. He talks a lot about how his business had to pivot in 2020, the lessons he learned, and how he can see taking those lessons forward into 2021. So today, however, we're going to be talking about painting the picture of success. And first, let me thank all my brand new Beehivers, everyone who has started joining me on the Business of Happiness Hive, our private Facebook group. I am just so honored and excited to have you there. I envision for this group a sense of community and support, business leaders, business owners, leaders of their own dreams, to be giving each other resources and sharing in stories and asking questions and supporting each other. And this has just been an exciting adventure for me. So every week, my intention is to shout out just first names of all the new Beehivers. So if you'd love to hear your name spoken on the airwaves, come over to our private Facebook group. The names this week are an enormous welcome to Chelsea and Jessfor, Pasha, Karen, Beantown, you know who you are, Joanna and Joanne, both Lynn's with an E, both Jessicas, Prunella, Phil, Lindsay, Kevin, Libby, Emily, Anjali, Carol, Alan, and my love, he joined as well this week. Thank you. Hi, Killian. Thank you for being a part of this group. We're so excited to see where this goes into the future. And I don't know if you caught what I did right there, but I painted an idea of what the Business of Happiness Hive will be. I gave you a picture of what I want for it, what my intentions are for it, and now you have an idea when you join how to participate and how to make this a big success. This is what we're talking about painting a portrait of success. Right now is the perfect time to do this in your life and in your business and the start of a new year. You can do it at any point. And please, if you're listening to this podcast into the future and it's April or June or September, don't wait for the new year. It's time to do it now if you haven't done it recently. So what is it? It's the art of predetermining your future, of creating a future of your own making, designing your own vision for happiness in your own life, and not just falling into it by default. In this episode, we're going to talk about the steps that you can take to create that portrait of success and the power of doing so and why you should do it at all. I used to live my life by default. I used to be very reactive. Yes, of course, I had goals that I was working towards, but I tended to pick one goal at a time and then go all in on that goal and forget about the things happening on either side of me, almost like ignoring the collateral damage, if you will, because I was so single-minded and laser focused on one thing. And of course, that can bring enormous success. We know that consistent action can bring success, but I also found that without the greater vision, I'd end up with something. I'd finally achieve what I had for my goal, but maybe I wasn't happy in it, right? So there's this pattern has happened so often with so many business owners where they've created something, poured their heart and soul into it, and then wake up one day and say, wow, but I'm not happy. So stumbling into success without intentionally designing it, without intentionally creating a life for ourselves, prioritizing the success that's important to us. That is the magic that I'm talking about today. I've been there. I know what it feels like not to do this. And I'm telling you, there's magic in creating and painting this portrait of success. And it's fun. It's also an absolute leadership skill that I believe all leaders need to have. That's why they call great leaders visionaries. That's where the word comes from. It's about creating the vision and then being able to share that vision with the people around you. So let's get started. I wanted to start with this quote from John Maxwell. A great leader's courage to fulfill his vision comes from passion and not position. And I want to share that with you because some of you might be feeling like, wait a minute, I'm not a business leader yet. I don't feel like a leader. And this is where I want to remind you that every single one of us is leaders. Every single one of us is a leader in some form, if not at the very core, a leader of our own dreams. I've said this so many times on this podcast because I believe in it, and I believe in you, and I believe in the strength of creating a life of success when you own that leadership. So if you aren't a leader or feeling like a leader, let's just play that role today. I'm telling you, you are. Let's start with that, and let's start dreaming of what that vision looks like. And that's step one. We start painting the portrait of success. What does happiness look like to you? What does happiness in your private life, in your relationships, in your family, in work look like to you? This is where you don't hold back. You don't start envisioning what exists. Just step out of the reality of the situation and start creating and painting the dream. That is step one. This is fun stuff. I love to suggest writing it down. The reason why I like writing things down, I think I mentioned this a few episodes ago, is because it makes you be really intentional and specific. So being clear is the second step of really writing down the specifics of what success looks like. So when it comes to business, that is easy to do as well. For example, when we first created our business, Embrace Orthodontics, we wrote down personally what a business would look like for ourselves, and then specifically as it relates to the business plan. So in my personal side, in terms of what I wanted to get out of this business, I would write things down like I'm working 3 days a week. I have my family taken care of on the days that I'm at work. I don't need to worry about where my children are or who's taking care of my children. I feel fulfilled in my work every day. I look forward to going to work every day. These are the things I write down in terms of painting the portrait of success. On my business side of it, I would write things down like, we have a team of incredible men and women who are supporting the vision of this business. We are beautifying the smiles of thousands of people and positively impacting their lives. Do you see how I'm beginning to create a vision of what I want, not just for my business, but for myself? You can do this as well with relationships. What do you want that relationship to look like? I've done this before with siblings of mine or my own husband or even with my children. I will literally write down what I envision for my perfect dream marriage. Start writing it down. Not what is, not what's difficult, not manipulating what already are the sticking points, or even if I find something that I already love in my relationship, then I'll definitely incorporate that. But what is going to bring me happiness and fulfillment in my relationship? So the clarity comes from being able to write it down. It might be that you are very artistic, so drawing it is inspirational to you. For me, it's journaling. And then the specificity is the second part that I mentioned in terms of being super clear. So if you're designing a business or you're even up-leveling your business for 2021, specifically, how much money do you want to make? How profitable is this business? How much time are you devoting to this business on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis? If you're talking about your own private development, your own personal development, how many children do you have in your vision? What is your relationship with your children? How much time are you devoting to your children or enjoying with your children? Critically, how much time are you giving to yourself? So the third part of this is letting judgment fall away, because already when I start saying some of these things, I know so many listeners are thinking, oh gosh, I got to take time for my children and I don't know if there's enough time. Throw judgment away. Now is not the time to start being particular in terms of how many hours are left in the day. Just lay your dreams out there and then let your judgments fall away. Let your judgments about money fall away. That actually can be one of our biggest restrictions on our own future success, is we start judging and we say, oh, I don't want to make too much money, or I don't need very much more, so let me pour myself into this business and not ask for any more out of it. Let the judgment fall away. What do you want in your perfect world? That brings us to the next step, and that is step number 4. Now you start feeling it. This is where the passion comes in. So in order to get yourself in that headspace, start envisioning what that, I'm going to say woman here because I am speaking as a woman, what does that woman's life look like? How does she act? How does she speak? What does she eat? What time does she get up? So I've already created this vision for myself of what I want for her to do and what I want for her to be surrounded by. Now my question is, how is she living in this new world? How does she move in this new world? Who are her friends? Who is she surrounding herself with? In other words, what am I envisioning for this successful woman that I'm painting this portrait of? What is she reading? How does she speak? How does she spend her free time? And then I start feeling what that feels like. How does that feel to me? If it feels negative, that means that maybe I'm not on the right path. Maybe I need to change my vision a little bit. If it's feeling restricted or overwhelming, maybe that dream is not really what I would like to dream for myself. And isn't that interesting to find that as well? In fact, this might be the most important step of trying to understand your feelings around the situation. Because sometimes we create this idea of success, and we've talked about this on the podcast before, that somebody else has written out for us. Somebody else told us that this is what success should look like. And when we start feeling that out and imagining how we're going to feel in that new world, if that discomfort or anxiety or overwhelm steps in, that's a great indicator that maybe we need to rethink that model of success. But when you find it, start reveling in it. Start really feeling how good that's going to feel, how great you're going to feel when you wake up. I love this idea, especially for fitness goals as well. When I was trying to start running for a marathon, and I thought, well, what would that mean for how I would start my day? Well, I guess I'd start my day stretching. That sounds like something a marathoner. Literally, you don't have to know very much about what that successful person would be like. You can find out. You can find somebody who's already doing what your dream is, what your vision is, and do kind of a lifestyle hacking of that person. Just find out how she gets up in the morning and what she does every day. Or you could just start designing it for yourself, and you'll very quickly figure out, oh, I forgot to introduce stretching. Oh, I forgot to introduce drinking lots of water. But before I've even run a mile, I can already start drinking water more frequently. I can already start, if I want to create a loving relationship with my best friend, if I want to refine that relationship with her, I can already start texting her in the morning, even just in anticipation of this new vision of a successful relationship. And then the fifth step is, who else needs to know? Once you've created this beautiful dream for your own life, for your own business, for your own family, who else needs to be in on it? This is so critical, and this is where leadership steps from just leading your dream to also leading others. Because even if it's just a very private, personal dream, believe it or not, other people are going to have to support you in it. If you want to run a marathon, your family is going to have to be okay with you taking 4 hours on a Saturday to run 20 miles. And this is where it's so critical to understand that you cannot expect anyone else to support you if you haven't painted for them a clear portrait of your vision. This is that visionary aspect, when you can show someone else what your dream is. And so often we think people should just know. I want to lose weight, so I'm going to stop drinking alcohol and stop eating carbs. And then you get so offended when people start bringing you or offering you a glass of wine. No, how important it would be to rather paint that portrait ahead of time. Set yourself up for success. Get everyone on board with you. And the interesting thing is, you'll learn who will be your greatest supporters and who is going to make it more difficult for you. And then you'll have some interesting decisions to make. But if you say to your husband, look, this is my picture of success for us in our marriage. This is how I see us. This is what I intend for us. Then I already know that I'm beginning to design for him the portrait of what I'm working towards. I'm giving us a focus point, a destination, so that when I reach out and hold his hand, he knows what my intention is, that I'm trying to find something better for us. And the same is true in any relationships. And if a friend says, you know what, this is not what I signed up for, or how about one of your team members who works for you, one of your employees says, yeah, that's not what I thought I was doing in this job. What a great time to recognize that your two values are not congruent and that this person will not support you in your new vision of success. So even though sometimes this can be difficult, it's extremely eye-opening, but definitely setting you up for true success. The final step, and this is my final step, is how to make this happen faster. I love this quote by Muhammad Ali. He said, champions aren't made in gyms. Champions are made from something they have deep inside, a desire, a dream, a vision. And what Muhammad Ali did was every single day he lived that vision, even before it came true. Even before he was a great boxer, the greatest, he called himself the greatest. This is the idea of quantum projection, making your success happen sooner. You start just to believe it. And your brain really doesn't know the difference between what is and what you're projecting when you start feeling it passionately. The way that I can best offer a suggestion for doing this is by journaling. This is something that works for me. I am so used to journaling. I've been journaling for decades. So my journaling practice, I just added on to it quantum journaling, what I call quantum journaling. So I just start writing down as if it already is. I start feeling how great it feels as if it already exists. Before I had this really beautiful team in my orthodontic practice, I started writing down, I have an enormous team that is supporting me. Every day is easy and fun. And even when it wasn't, it was hard work. I had no team members. I started immediately feeling what that would feel like inside. So I did the same thing once with my brother. My brother and I were having a difficult relationship, and we weren't reaching each other. We weren't even speaking at the time. And I'll never forget, someone had advised to me to write a prayer to him or a message to him that just said what I wished for our relationship. And I wrote it one time, and the whole idea of this practice was to fold it up into a note and put it away somewhere to get it off my mind so that I could put my projection of what I saw for our future relationship. And I did it one time. And even that one time was enormously powerful, because months later, when we finally had a more open, communicative relationship, I looked back and I saw, wow, that is a dream I put into place months ago. Now, that was me just writing it down one time. Imagine how powerful that is when you can do that on a more frequent basis. So another idea is in your gratitude practice, which I know many of you have incorporated into your daily lives, being grateful for what already is. My idea and my suggestion to you is, what if you're grateful for what will be? What if you can already feel the happiness and the fulfillment even before it happens? That is powerful. That is what makes success happen on a much faster train track. Then all of a sudden things start flowing to you. This is the secret that I'm offering you here. This is powerful. It works. Try it out. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. This is what I love to do every single morning. I start reveling in what I'm already grateful for. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for this time. Thank you for being open to thinking success in a different way. Thank you for being open to placing yourself and your happiness as a priority every single day, because I deeply believe when you feel good, you can do good. Next week, we're going to talk to Dr. Phil Finnemore, and he is someone who does great work. He's just so passionate about what he does, and you can hear it when he speaks, how much his work means to him, and success is just flowing to him as a result. Join us over at the Business of Happiness Hive on Facebook. And until next time, today is going to be a great day. Bye-bye.